those who don't have any written language. And ideas were shared around that table, and different ways that we could depict the gospel. And an idea of a kite was born. And John began to formulate a plan. If anybody knows John, if there's a project, he's got a plan, and he's going to make that plan work. And after we were married in August of '08, we left for China. We had a short honeymoon and a long trip to China. And how wonderful. I mean, just awesome way to begin a marriage. And we went to China with a group led by Randy Galloway. And the team trained Chinese believers in the art of storying. And while in China, John met a businessman who made purses. But that businessman, to make purses, he had sewing machines, and he had screening equipment, and he said, this man could partner and make kites. So he had him, while we were in China that time, do a prototype of a kite, and we had a friend who drew all the pictures. And when John went back in 6 or 8 months later, he went back to go with Randy, and he took all the plans, and he came back with 500 kites to use for sharing the gospel. They are the stories from Genesis to the resurrection. And you can take this kite into any country, anywhere, doesn't have a word, and to share the story of our Creator God and how much He loves us as He gave us His Son, Jesus, to redeem us and to call us to life in Himself. At the same time, we responded to a call from Story Runners to be full-time volunteer field coordinators and trainers with a focus on Central and South America. You know, God lit the candle again in John's life to be able to serve overseas and be called wherever God wanted to send him. Seems to us that that wick was blown out a little too soon again. But you know, we don't know God's purposes and God's plans. And this is what He calls us to, and that is to trust. To trust in an infinite, loving, purposeful God who is good. We went to Honduras to train nationals in storytelling. While we were there, we flew the prototype of the kite and shared the story with a man named Johnny on the beach. And John, to this day, or to a little while back, continued to keep in contact with Johnny. We went to Guatemala last summer, where we were used, and we used the kite to share God's story with kids and adults. And we were planning to go back to Honduras this spring and to go back to China this fall. And we didn't know where else. John was passionate about the gospel, about sharing the good news. And we can't let his passion die. We can forward his legacy by making ourselves available to go. To the ends of the earth we will go. Lord, would you breathe on us?